So this market has been pretty dull for the last week or so and a half. If you've been keeping an eye on this market since about the beginning of November until now, it's been pretty dull. Even more so if you have XRP. I mean, XRP hasn't changed much in the last, say, 7 days. If we look at XRP, it is still up a lot after 30 days, 90 days, and 60 days. However, things have become somewhat dull over the past few days. The reason for this is that the market has begun to settle down. We've been seeing some chop. I've talked a bit about this on the channel as well, especially as we get ready for what's next. And I'm going to talk a lot about what we can expect next from Bitcoin, XRP, and the rest of the market in this video. That being said, hello everyone, my name is Nick and I'm glad you're here. If this video is your first time on the channel, I hope you decide to join by the end. Also, what are you guys waiting for if you're not in the free Discord? Click on the link below to join the free Discord. There are almost 10,000 people, and you won't be sorry if you join. Now that we've said that, let's start talking about some things. Let's start by making this our own. Before I do anything else, I want to look at the 24-hour gainers and see what's been going on. I also want to tell you guys what's going on with the 7-day. As I already said, XRP has lost almost 5% in 24 hours over the last 7 days. These aren't very big wins. There have been a lot of great gains across the board, but in the top 100, DeFi gems are starting to really go crazy, which is to be expected. Listen, DeFi starts to pick up a lot when stores open again. Of course, we take a close look at Aave, Chainlink, SNX, and a few other tokens. Even the DEX tokens, they've been doing very well as we would expect. When we look at XRP though, you know that it hasn't done much in the last week or so. This is how the last month looks. We are up 179%, but that number goes all the way back to November. It looks like the move to about $2.90 is what we're really looking at. It says something like $284, but this is only about $2.90. Back at the beginning of the month, things were going one way. But since then, things have been going in a different direction. Today is the 15th. It's been about 12 days since that big move to the top. A lot of people are getting tired of XRP. Okay, you know, XRP isn't doing anything again. They say that works in a funny way, right? As we really think about the retail sector, you know, if XRP doesn't go to a new all-time high right away, it gets a little boring for everyone. That being said, one thing I will talk about that worries me is the amount of trade. Looking at how much XRP has been traded in the last 24 hours, we see that it's been worth about $5.43 billion. At the very bottom of CoinMarketCap's chart, you can see how the volume has been dropping since about the second or third part of last year. It's now at a very low level. Now, is this the point where I say, okay, that's it, I think XRP has reached its peak? Not at all. I believe that XRP is getting ready for a much bigger move. I do believe that XRP will see more trading. When the market starts to change a bit, what do I mean by that? So money starts to flow down and the market starts to move around. I do believe that there will be a big shift into XRP in the next few hours or days. We're going to talk about why I say that. First, I want to talk about Bitcoin because it's beginning to make a nice little move. As you can see, the market value has gone over $2 trillion again, and trade is picking up a lot. This is what the Bitcoin picture looks like when we look at it all at once. Now, I'm on the daily, and I've also been keeping track of this in the Discord for everyone who is there, right? If we look at this, we can see that we have been following this trend since about the beginning of November. We did have a nice break not long ago. We now got away and began to cut up some onions. You may remember that we were dealing every day against this resistance level of about 101K, which looks like a bull flag. And we had a nice little close above this yesterday. You could say that this isn't really a big ending. It's not really, but it is still a daily candle close above this. We had a small close above it even the day before. In the case of today, if we forget about this entirely, it's about 8 hours away. Should we close above this level, which we can see now, I believe this will be the start of a much bigger rise. And that goal on the upside that I'm looking at right now is around $100,000. And if we look at the percentage gain from where we are now, it's not a huge gain, but it is still a 7% push to the top at the exact same time that we want Bitcoin to move. We're keeping an eye on Bitcoin dominance because even on the 3-day chart, this thing is trading at a lot of support, but we're seeing signs of a breakout. It's important to me that we keep going down from this level and keep the resistance level at 57%. I do not want us to actually end this, at least for 3 days. The 3-day candle close won't happen for another day and 9 hours. Every day, it takes us 8 hours and 5 minutes to get there from a daily candle close on this. I also don't want us to close above this amount of resistance. I want us to really turn this down. But the thing I'm paying attention to right now is that we have this nice low here and then this low. Bitcoin may still have a little more to show here while altcoins sit around and do nothing for a while. Just make sure you know that, okay? Even so, XRP could still stay a little idle and dull, which is fine, as long as Bitcoin doesn't really take over and steal the show, because if Bitcoin does take over, it could lead to a sell-off, right? It might be possible to sell off from the last wick here. This is a cash wick worth $104,000. It could drop from there or from this level of $110,000. If it does, Bitcoin will have a much higher share, around 60%. Then altcoins will have a hard time in the market. Just keep that in mind. Don't get too excited and say things like, okay, well, XRP is going to do this, or that we need to be a little more flexible and aware. But let's look at this post from Bitcoin.com News to really show you what they're looking at. I agree with this post too. Bitcoin is staying the same at 102.5K. It's almost as much as $4,000, just below its all-time high of $100. Short-term traders should be careful as the bulls aim for 105K support. Also, keep an eye out for pullbacks near 100K. As for the short term, people will always be careful. So just keep that in mind and be a little careful when we start to trade near levels of resistance or the high wicks. Strong backing at 100,000 keeps hope alive. Gains might be stopped at 103.5 to 105K. Moving averages, on the other hand, point to continued bullish trend. I'm still very optimistic about this space, by the way. A lot of people I know take short-term and lower time-frame trading too seriously, even though we will have short-term pullbacks. You could see those short-term drops on the Bitcoin chart even if we only looked at it for 4 hours, but all of this is just build-up for the big breaks that happen in this space. So far on the 4-hour chart, we have wicked into a big resistance level. We need to be careful here. We need to be careful here. We need to be careful. We need to keep our cool. Before we get excited or anything, we need to beat this level first. But in the short term, there might be, drop. There might be more chop, which could be bad for altcoins. But there is a bull run going on right now. We are also in the middle of an alt season. When we think about it more, the biggest gains in this area have not yet happened. Just keep that in mind. Now that we've talked about that, let's look at XRP. Even though we talked about Bitcoin a lot, it's still important right now, especially since it's becoming more popular. If we look at XRP right now, this is a little off. Just to be sure that it's correct. The good news about XRP is that it has built a structure that is bullish. Down here we have these nice lows. By the way, this is on the 4-hour, so lower time frame framework. That pretty candle body is down there. Here are some light body closes. In fact, we have a higher low arrangement here. The issue is that we do not have a higher high organization. The good news is that we broke above the top trend line, which means that this is a new high. The backing is still there so far. That amount of support is right around $2.39. That's why we're holding this right now. A break above $2.53 is what we want to see. We want to break over this midline because that's where we wick to. We want to recover that support from around December 8th before we did, retest a much bigger breakout here. And then we want to break through those old highs from this level that we flip. This is all we're really looking for on this chart. We don't want to make things too hard or go into too much depth. We only really want to hold on to these nice lows that we're beginning to form. Okay, you could say this is a low. In terms of the structure, this is a lower low that goes all the way back to December 3rd. But in a shorter amount of time, we have this nice low point, then a higher low point, and finally a properly higher low point here. We want this high to be broken so that a new high can be made. Following that, I do believe we will aim for those highs from December 3rd. At the moment, the most important thing is to keep these lows. How do I know what to look for if we lose it? I want us to test again around $2.22. Inverting this chart shows that the general trend is going in the opposite direction.